Hello friends, today I am going to talk about Rio Declaration on Environment and Development. The conference that was carried out in the year 3rd to 14 June 1992. And that conference was about environment conservation, overall protection on the earth, and how the future development should go ahead. So this conference adopted, continued what was that time accepted as part of Stockholm Conference. So with the goal of establishing new and equitable global partnership, that was the main theme behind it. So for creation of new levels of cooperation in various societies and among the people. So that is what they committed to work with global agreements with respect of all societies and with overall integrity, with togetherness, they decided to go ahead. They recognized that the nature is interconnected. Principle 1 of it states that human beings are at the center of sustainable development and we have right for healthy and productive life, but it should be in harmony with nature. Principle 2 states that the different countries, in accordance with the Charter of United Nations and the principles, international law, they have sovereign right to exploit their resources for their own development. And that was the base principle number 2. But they should do it, future development, without further harm to the environment and within limit. Principle 3 says that right to development must be fulfilled to equitably meet the developmental and environmental needs of present and future generation. And this is also a core area of sustainable development. The next principle number 4, it says that in order to achieve that future sustainable development, overall environmental conservation, environment is pillar of that sustainable development, one of the 3 pillars, so shall constitute an integral part of development, environment, and it cannot be separated. Principle 5 states that all countries and people, they should cooperate with each other in order to eradicate the poverty, because its removal, eradication is one of important aspect of sustainable development. We don't want disparities in standards of living of the people. So better future is very necessary for the coming world. Principle 6 says that spatial situation and needs of developing countries, especially of the poor and least developing countries who are suffering, who are vulnerable to disasters, certain priority tasks, certain international actions, especially in field of environment, should be taken and to support them mainly. Principle 7 says that states shall cooperate in spirit of global partnership to conserve, to restore healthy and integrity of the ecosystems. So we don't want further global environmental degradation, and so states have common but differentiated responsibilities. This is very important word. The developed countries acknowledge that they bear more responsibility in order to support and help other countries to achieve the goals of sustainable development. So global environment and especially providing technologies and financial support to the countries. Principle 8 says that to achieve sustainable development and higher quality for the people, all countries should reduce and eliminate the unsustainable patterns of production. It is very necessary, as well as consumption. Change in lifestyle is very necessary, and policies should be developed for that purpose. Principle 9 says that states should cooperate and strengthen the indigenous capacity building. And now what is that is for sustainable development. We want to improvement in scientific development, exchange of knowledge, as well as technological advances, and by that way we can develop. So adaptation, diffusion, transfer of technologies, innovative technologies, this is the only way for that purpose. Principle 10, that environmental issues can be best handled with participation of concerned citizens, suffering citizens. So public participation is more important, and appropriate access of the individuals for the decision making or of the government policies, programs is very necessary. So hazardous materials and activities should be removed out, should not be produced with proper participation and decision making. So all countries should encourage public awareness and participation by making the available information widely. So principle number 11, it states that all countries, so states, shall meet effective environmental legislation, environmental governance, the standards and management, environmental management, objectives decide, and priority should be given for that purpose. So some countries, they may be inappropriate and they are not in proper way, but it is expected, and they should have the ideal ways of environmental governance. Principle 12, states should cooperate to promote and support open international economic system. So that is necessary for economic growth and environmental development. So all countries should address their problems of environmental degradation. So this is also related with the trade policy measures for environmental purposes should not constitute the means for arbitrary or unjustifiable discrimination. So that is important part, trade and environment. So unilateral actions necessary to deal with environmental challenges as part of these principles. So environmental measures, they should also address the transboundary or global environmental issues as part of this. Principle 13, states shall develop national law regarding liability and compensation. Who is responsible and how much should be given? Various ways of compensation for the victims, those who have suffered or will suffer in future. Our states should cooperate more in standard way to develop further the international law regarding liability and again, yes, compensation, adverse effects of the environmental damage that are caused because of anthropogenic activities. So within the state's jurisdiction or even outside. Principle 14 says that all countries should effectively cooperate to discourage or prevent the relocation and transfer to other states of any activities that substitute or that cause severe environmental degradation which is harmful for human health. Principle 15. So in order to protect the environment, the precautionary approach shall be widely applied by the countries or states. So as per their capacity, and where there are serious irreversible damage, lack of full scientific certainty shall not be used, and overall necessary steps should be taken. Principle 16 says that national authorities should endeavor to promote internalization of environmental costs and use of economic instruments, and they should take account of the polluter pays principle. Whoever pollutes has to bear the cost of pollution. So especially as part of international trade and investments, it is very true. Principle 17, environment impact assessment. It is an important national instrument, shall be undertaken to promote the activities that are likely to have significant adverse impact on environment. And nowadays it is started in most of the countries. There should be a special national authority to check all these things. Principle 18, states shall immediately notify other states of any other natural disasters or other emergencies that are likely to produce harmful effects on property or life of other countries, other states. So every state should take such a precautionary measure for others. So principle 19, states shall provide prior and timely notification of relevant information to potentially affected states on activities that may have significant adverse transboundary environmental effects, and should consult with those states as early in good faith. Principle 20, he says women have vital role in management and overall development, and their participation is very much essential to achieve sustainable development. As part of principle 21, the creativity and the ideals, the courage, energy of youth should be mobilized, supported, motivated to forge global partnership in order to achieve, yes, again, sustainable development. That is necessary for better future of all. Principle 12, that indigenous people and their communities and other local communities, they play vital role in environmental management, and their knowledge, traditional practices should be used properly. States should recognize their knowledge and duly support their identity, the cultural practices, their interests, and also involve them, their proper participation to achieve the sustainable development. Principle 23, it says that the environment and natural resources of people under oppression, domination, and occupation shall be protected. Next, principle 24, warfare is inherently destruction. It causes destruction and it is against sustainability. So states shall respect the international law providing protection for environment, and especially during armed conflicts should be avoided, and necessary cooperation is necessary, should be carried out. Principle 25, the peace and development and environmental protection, they are well linked, interdependent and indivisible. Next, principle 26 says that states shall resolve all their environmental disputes peacefully by appropriate means and in accordance with United Nations guidelines, charters. And the last principle 27, states and people shall cooperate in good faith, in spirit of partnership to fulfill the principles that are embodied in this declaration. And there is need for further development of international law for sustainable development. So this document has been posted online by United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs. So it is made available on its website also in detail, and it is referred from their website. Thank you very much for being here.